The afternoon sun streamed through the living room windows, casting a golden glow on the hardwood floors. I stood frozen, my heart hammering in my chest as I watched Ethan's face contort in disbelief. He held my phone in his trembling hands, his eyes darting across the screen, reading every message that I had hoped would stay hidden forever. The air felt heavy, and for a moment I thought I might collapse. "Jessica, what is this?" he asked, his voice low and broken, the pain threading through every syllable. I opened my mouth to respond, but nothing came out. My lips quivered, my throat burned. I had rehearsed 1,000 excuses in my head for this very moment, but now, standing in front of the man I had vowed to love forever, my mind was a blank void. Ethan looked up at me, his blue eyes shimmering with tears that he refused to let fall. I took a shaky step forward, reaching for him, but he recoiled as if my touch would burn him. It's not what you think," I finally stammered, though even I didn't believe the words. "Oh, really?" he snapped, his voice rising. "Then what exactly am I looking at, Jess? These texts, these pictures, you're telling me it's all some misunderstanding." I collapsed onto the couch, burying my face in my hands. The tears came fast now, hot and relentless, carving tracks down my cheeks. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm so sorry." Ethan paced back and forth, running his hands through his dark hair. We had been married for 8 years, shared countless memories, built a life together brick by fragile brick. And now, with a few swipes on a screen, it all threatened to collapse. His voice softened, trembling with the kind of vulnerability I had never seen from him before. "Why, Jess? Why would you do this to us?" I looked up at him through blurred eyes. The answer was complicated and messy, a tangled web of loneliness, restlessness, and moments of weakness. But how could I possibly explain that without sounding like a monster? "It wasn't about him," I finally managed to say.
"It was never about Matt."
I felt invisible. You were always at work, always distracted, and I was so lonely. Matt made me feel seen again. Ethan's jaw tightened. "Matt," he repeated, spitting the name like poison. "So it's true. You slept with him." I nodded, unable to meet his gaze. The truth hung between us, heavy and irrevocable. He sank into the armchair across from me, burying his face in his hands. The silence was excruciating. I could hear the ticking of the old clock on the mantel, the distant hum of traffic outside, the ragged sound of our breathing. After what felt like hours, he finally looked up. "How long?" I hesitated, the weight of every secret moment with Matt pressing down on me. 6 months, I whispered. Ethan's face crumpled, and for the first time, the tears finally spilled over. My strong, stoic husband who had held me through every storm was now crumbling before my eyes because of me. "You should have come to me, Jess," he said, his voice breaking. "We could have talked. We could have tried to fix things. But this? You destroyed us." I slid off the couch and crawled to his feet, sobbing. "Please, Ethan. Please don't leave me. I'll do anything. We can go to therapy. I'll end it with Matt. I already did. Please, just don't give up on us." He looked down at me, his eyes red and weary. "You think it's that simple? You think a few therapy sessions will fix this?" I pressed my forehead against his knee, clinging to his leg like a lifeline. "I love you. I never stopped loving you," I cried. He pushed me away gently, but firmly. "You don't do this to someone you love, Jess." I sat back on my heels, the room spinning around me. Every memory with Ethan came flooding back. Our first date at that tiny Italian restaurant, the way he looked at me when I walked down the aisle, the lazy Sunday mornings in bed. And now, all of it was overshadowed by my betrayal. I watched as he stood, moving like a man twice his age, every step labored and heavy. He walked into the bedroom and returned with a small duffel bag. "Where are you going?" I asked, my voice raw. "I need space," he said, avoiding my eyes. "I can't look at you right now. I don't know if I'll ever be able to again." I scrambled after him, grabbing his arm. "Please, Ethan. Please don't go." He turned to face me, his eyes hollow. I don't even know who you are anymore, he said. Then he pulled his arm from my grasp and walked out the door, leaving me standing there, shattered and alone. I sank to the floor, sobbing until my body ached. I wanted to call him, to run after him, but I knew deep down that this wasn't a wound that could be patched up with apologies and empty promises. Days turned into weeks. I tried to reach out, leaving voicemails, sending texts, but he never responded. The house felt like a graveyard, every room a reminder of what I had lost. I found his mug still on the kitchen counter, his jacket draped over the chair, his favorite cologne lingering on the sheets. One morning, I found the strength to visit Matt. I needed closure, needed to end it for good if there was ever any hope of saving my marriage. When Matt opened the door, he looked surprised. "Jess, what are you doing here?" I stepped inside, trembling. "It's over," I said. "Ethan found out. I can't do this anymore." He frowned, leaning against the doorway. "You're really ending this? Just like that?" I nodded. "I love my husband. I made a terrible mistake, but I have to try to make it right." Matt sighed and looked away. "I always knew this day would come," he said quietly. "I guess I just hoped it wouldn't." I swallowed hard, my throat tight.
Goodbye, Matt.
He reached for me, but I stepped back. I couldn't let myself get pulled into his arms again, couldn't let my resolve crumble. Without another word, I turned and walked out, feeling a strange mix of relief and sorrow. Back at home, I started therapy on my own. The counselor helped me unpack years of hidden resentment, loneliness, and self-loathing. I realized how deeply I had neglected my own emotional needs and how unfairly I had blamed Ethan for my unhappiness. One day, after a particularly emotional session, I found myself standing at our front door, staring at a small framed photo of us on our wedding day. My heart ached for the woman in that picture, the woman who had believed in forever. Then, out of nowhere, I heard the doorbell. I ran to open it, my breath catching when I saw Ethan standing there. He looked different, older, more tired. But beneath the exhaustion, there was a softness in his eyes that I hadn't seen in months. "Can I come in?" he asked. I stepped aside, my heart thundering in my chest. He walked into the living room, looking around as if he were stepping into a memory. We sat across from each other in silence, the tension crackling like a live wire. Finally, he spoke. "I've been thinking a lot," he said, "about us, about everything that happened." I leaned forward, desperate for any glimmer of hope. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I've been going to therapy. I've been working on myself. I know I hurt you, and I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make things right." He looked down at his hands, twisting his wedding ring around his finger. "I don't know if I can ever trust you again," he said softly. I nodded, tears spilling down my cheeks. "I understand. I needed you to know that I'm not that woman anymore. I want to be better for myself, and if there's ever a chance for us." He looked up, and for a moment, I saw a flicker of the man I fell in love with. "I don't know what the future holds," he said, "but I loved you once more than anything in this world. And a part of me still does." I reached across the coffee table, my fingers brushing his. He didn't pull away this time. "I'm not asking for everything to go back to the way it was," I said. "I know that's impossible, but maybe we can start over. Slowly, one day at a time." He squeezed my hand gently. "Maybe," he whispered. We sat there in silence, our hands intertwined. The pain was still there, raw and sharp, but beneath it, there was also a fragile thread of hope. In the following weeks, we started meeting at a nearby cafe to talk. We spoke about the past, our pain, our mistakes. We laughed over old memories and cried over broken promises. It wasn't easy. There were moments when he would look at me and the hurt would flare in his eyes, and I knew he was replaying those messages in his head. But he kept showing up, and so did I. Slowly, trust began to grow again, like a tender sprout pushing through cracked earth. Months passed, and one night, as we walked by the lake where he had proposed years ago, Ethan stopped and turned to me. "I don't know if I'll ever be able to forget what happened," he said, his voice hushed. But I want to try. I want to try, because I still love you. I threw my arms around him, my heart bursting. For the first time in so long, I felt his arms wrap around me fully, holding me the way he used to. Under the moonlight, I knew that our love would never be perfect again. It would carry scars, shadows, and fragile edges. But it was real. It was alive. In that moment, I realized that sometimes love isn't about perfection or fairy tales. Sometimes it's about fighting through the darkest nights, choosing each other over and over again, even when it hurts. I had almost lost him forever. But now, as we stood together by the water, I knew that we had a chance, a second chance. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough.